We're live. We're live action. What's going on? It's the Wednesday Talking Giants live chat. How's everybody doing? What's going? We got Silo Ren. We got 3 stars. We got Raquan. We got Eli Bittner. And we got our friend Strevyard, who says live viewer. He's giving us his advice. Live viewer comment show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on the comment to show it on the screen. Wow. Appreciate that advice, StreamYard. Justin, how are you?
Hey, Bobby Skinner. Tuesday, Wednesdays are big days where Mondays too, but Tuesday, Wednesdays are big days where we're really grinding everything out. And go watch the stats report video. I'm like the king of putting a lot of work into things and then not getting a lot of views on them. So go watch the stat report video, and I feel like it was really good. A lot of emotion in the stat video, not just a lot of graphics with it too, but I also, like in my analysis, I included a lot of emotion. So I think you'll enjoy it. How are you?
Doing all right. Eli says, why isn't MetLife on fire? I'm kind of rooting for them to
Good
come
question.
after us at this point. We're making a shirt, by the way.
Us? After us? After you.
Yeah. Huh?
After you. They ain't coming after me.
No, it's called guilt by association.
Oh, okay. Well, bystander.
So we are making shirts of that. I got it approved today. It's just one of those text messages where it's like, I really hate sending my bosses this, but it's like, last time I just had them make a shirt, they told me it wasn't allowed to. Come on. So, all right, ask us some questions. We're going to go for like 45 minutes, an hour. Usually we don't have a guest on this week. Bay Tumors, I know you want to keep on commenting the same thing. If you do it again, I'm just going to ban you. Like, that's the only thing we don't allow is just spamming the comments.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing. Okay, so the stat report video, I haven't watched yet. I have it planned to watch after this. Been working. What is like your big takeaway from the stats, Bill Gates?
Yeah, so there's no pass rush on this team. It's so bad. Like, I'm actually just about to put a tweet out right now with the graphic, and obviously the sacks. There's only 6 sacks, but I'm not concerned about that. But it's the fact that there's only 14 QB hits, and the Giants are like 25th in the NFL in QB hits. That's bad. And quarterbacks have averaged 2.8 seconds time to throw, time before the throw this year. That's bad. Your quarterback's sitting back there for 3 seconds. You got to hit him. You got to infiltrate the pocket. There's just there's no pressure. There's 27 pressures. That's 9 pressures per game. And think about the amount of times that the quarterbacks have thrown the ball. Each 3 games, I'm pretty sure quarterbacks have had over 30 passing attempts against us. And to have only 27 pressures through 3 games is really bad. So that's on the defensive side of the ball. Talked a lot about pass rush. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I think we might have touched on it in the mailbag episode, but while I was prepping for the stats report video, that's what this is what I found. The Giants are like 5th in yards per drive on offense, and then they're 6th in the NFL in time of possession per drive, but they're still 20th in the NFL in points per drive. And I had like a mental conniption, like talking about it on the stats report, because I don't understand how you can be that good and then like that bad in the category where it like actually matters, right? Doesn't matter how many yards you get per drive. Doesn't really matter how much time you hold the ball. It matters how many points you can put up on the board, because that's what defines wins and losses, right? So I could not believe it. Where I even said, Bobby, we talked about this, where if you replace the Giants with the Chiefs in point, like the Chiefs are they're 5th in the NFL in yards per drive. The Chiefs are 6th in the NFL in time of possession per drive, but they're below average in points per drive. I'd be like, oh, that's a little surprising. But because of the Chiefs, of how much they're turning over the ball, I mean, their first 3 possessions against the Chargers this past weekend, it was a turnover. Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble, Sante Samuel Jr. interception. So first couple drives were turnovers, but it's not. This is the Giants, and those are the 2 things that were most surprising and most noteworthy.
Yeah, when you shared me that stat of like, oh, they actually like are really top of the tier and like per like yards per drive and stuff. It's like when you say that and then say their points aren't good, it, like you said, it automatically makes your brain go, oh, they're turning the ball over. It's like, no, they're not. We probably turn the ball over less than anybody in the league. We have 1 turnover this year because none of our backs have fumbled. So it's just the one Jones fumble.
It's 2, and then Evan Ingram fumble. That's it.
Oh yes, Evan Ingram fumbles, so 2. Of course. Got some. How did Colin Johnson jump everyone in the depth chart? He really didn't. Because you have Galladay, who he wasn't ahead of. Slayton, Shepard got injured. Tony played more than Colin Johnson, but they do play different positions. The only guy he really jumped was C.J. Board, which I think we're all happy about that he might have jumped. So Board might have even gotten more reps than Colin Johnson. Colin Johnson kind of is a fit for Jason Garrett, where it's like goes and curls on the outside.
Yeah, and that's what you talked about, where Kadarius Toney is like the worst fit for this Jason Garrett offense. And we thought that when we took Toney, that the offense was going to evolve a little bit because the personnel's different. Right? That was the excuse of 2020. The personnel's bad, the personnel's bad, the personnel's bad. The personnel is not going to allow Jason Garrett to do what he wants to do. You know what? And we called BS on that all last year, but you know what? We allowed it because we had no other choice. We're not making the decisions to fire Jason Garrett. So we called it out last year, but that was the excuse, right? So you draft Toney. Are you going to change? Nope, you don't change. And it's crazy how a guy like Colin Johnson, who was on the Jaguars, a bad team to begin with, he was on the practice squad of that team, bad team to begin with, and then he came off the street and onto the Giants, and he was more productive than Kadarius Toney. So go figure.
Yeah. Dan, I can win a winner chicken dinner. My hair flows like Bobby Skinner. Talking Giants first of all. # Garrett stinks. I agree with all of that.
Me too.
OGR Sports, our guy. He asked the opinions I can't stand. I know you guys feel the opposite. People give Jason Garrett a pass because Joe Judge is the head coach. Ultimately, should Joe Judge move off of Jason Garrett now? Yeah, I mean, we've been on, now, but we talked about it on the Mailbag podcast today. What sucks is that it's kind of too late. It's too late. It would help the offense, but I don't think it doesn't put us at where we want to be this season because we're facing a lot better teams than we've faced these first 3 weeks. You know what does suck, though? Because Judge is under a lot of criticism, and he should be, is we have now entered the everything he says is stupid and dumb zone for Joe Judge. I hate that part of like head coach life. Like I us, we try to criticize everything but I just always get so annoyed. It's like today, so Slayton and Shep had injuries, and people are like, oh, well, is it because of the conditioning that they're having soft tissue injuries? So I thought Joe Judge honestly was one of the most, they say he talks in cliches. It was the most concrete answer he ever gave. Like he came with the facts that is like, hey, this is what happened last year with us in injuries, and this is like proven. And it's something we talked about in the beginning of training camp is like what he does. It sucks running and stuff, but it's like it shows up with an injuries. Now they've been unlucky to start this season. They've had injuries, like with Slayton and Shep are soft tissue, and then Blake Martinez ACL, Bredesen and Gates. There's no training you could do to not break bones.
Yeah.
And you look at Lemieux, that was the first week of camp, so he wasn't hurt by conditioning the first week of camp.
Yep.
So it just kind of sucks that we're in that zone. But the only way to fix it is to win games, which is our critique, like win games. And his analytics thing, which was it was actually a good answer, the Bill Gates quotes, but at the same time, it's like, well, you got to use that tool and go, like that fourth down was the worst fourth down decision he's ever made, and he's always and he's had a lot of fourth down decisions we haven't liked.
Yeah. There's been 2 this year. The 4th and 4 on the Washington 37 last week was one where there was a predictive model that said he should have gone for it. And then this week there was obviously the 4th and 3. So, but this week was the one that was the only one that I really had like a major problem with. But yeah, I said it last week where I'm like, there's nothing Joe Judge is going to say. Frankly, I don't even know if I'm gonna loosely pay attention to the pressers. I'm not really gonna watch them intently anymore because I know we are in that phase, and I don't want to fall guilty of it. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Hold on. I don't want to not like Joe Judge more based off of my annoyance with the state of the football team being 0-3. I would rather be annoyed with Joe Judge because he is not going for it on 4th down when he should. I'd rather get annoyed with Joe Judge that he's wasting timeouts. I'd rather get annoyed with Joe Judge that he's keeping Jason Garrett around. Those are the things I would rather get annoyed with Joe Judge, not like what he says over a presser. So
yeah, and pressers are in the offseason training camp we look at every single one because we don't have much to look at and talk about.
There's nothing happening on the football field.
Yeah. But I usually you don't get much his answer on the injuries today. Like that was one of the better Joe Judge answers I've ever seen. He kind of that was not just him talking. That was okay. You're giving this is one of the most real answers he's probably ever given. And then the analytics thing was like, it was just kind of some talking points. There was nothing substantive. I'm screwing that word up bad lately. There was nothing that was like you took away from that besides the
substantive. I think that's the word.
Yeah, there's nothing you took away from it besides the Bill Gates line, which were like, Bill Gates is killing it. It's like, well, he was talking about football and it was a joke. Relax, people. But like you said, there is plenty of criticism of Joe Judge that Joe Judge deserves. And you know what? It's at this, you have to win. And you know what? Like, it doesn't look like it's going to get better at this point.
No.
Let's see. What questions we got? Barkley is another I'm starting to get annoyed with because he runs like a scared girl. You're 230 and scared to get hit. Yeah, man. And Saquon has just been a bad start for him. You know, it's not just about like, and it has nothing to do with like draft position. And like, it's just like, you just watch him play running back and you're like, this isn't the guy. Like, he does not, like, he looks like a bad running back right now.
Yeah.
You know, now he'll have some like, 10, 15-yard plays that are like, okay, that's good. But it's like, overall, it's like, he just kind of looks like, he looks like Corey Clement right now, you know?
Yeah. So that's another part of the stats report video where if you're not happy with Saquon, I kind of go in and I caught myself while I was kind of ranting a little bit about Saquon, is especially when you compare his advanced numbers and his next gen numbers to Wayne Gallman. Like, Wayne Gallman was drastically a better runner. I'm not going to say he's a better running back. He was a better runner for the Giants last year than Saquon Barkley is a better runner right now for the Giants. Like, it's drastic. Yeah. Like, Saquon Barkley, according to that rushing yards over expected metric, is costing his team minus 0.5 a yard per carry. Like that, and that's an average. Or Wayne Gallman was adding about 3/4 of a yard per carry based off his own individual performance. So, really, it's upsetting because I feel like the Giants have put him in this situation. The Giants put him in this situation because you do have to talk about the number 2 overall pick, right? You have to talk about that number 2 overall label because that was the investment that the Giants have had. He's like the most valuable asset that the Giants have had since Dave Gettleman started as general manager. So the expectations for him to be great are there, and he's just not fitting it. And it's, in a way, it's not even his fault. 2 major injuries for a running back position where running backs get hurt and they take the most damage to their bodies probably more than any other position out there, right? So this may not be fair, the expectation that we're putting on him, but the organization gave us no other choice.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look good right now if he's picked 2nd overall or picked in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Silo ran, hey guys, Isaiah Wilson could have signed anywhere with any other contender for the minimum. Are you guys surprised he did so with the Giants? That's not true. The Colts didn't want him. They told him to lose 50 pounds or 40 pounds. And then he said, do you think Isaiah Wilson will take over starting right tackle at some point in the season? So let's talk about Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah.
Did I break the news? Yeah, not a big deal.
Okay.
Justin can attest, though. So I guess because it's Friday's a preview pod, we won't get to talk about it. How nervous I was to tweet that out. Like, we had it on good.
Very nervous.
We had it on good info, but it's like I've never done that, And part of me is like, well, why aren't the beat guys tweeting this out? And I don't like. I never want to go search out trying to break stuff. But when it falls in my lap,
too,
huh?
You stepping on anybody's toes and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, but it fell into my lap, and we had 2 people confirm it. And
can I also say I'm gonna take the humble approach here of telling everybody how humble I am. I also got a tip too, and I might have even gotten it before you. I chose not to do anything with that.
Well, that's not true because I got the tip last night.
Oh, I got it.
And then this morning it was like, hey, it's a done deal.
Oh, okay.
So how about that? So you don't be so damn humble. But I was very nervous. Like, I was on the phone with Justin for 5 minutes with the tweet, staring me in the face. I'm like, should I tweet it? Should I tweet it? I even texted one of the beat reporters. I was like, do you think this is going to work out? And it ended up working out. If it didn't work out, though, here's what I was going to do. I was going to tweet out, the Giants have cut Isaiah Wilson from the practice squad per source. That was
nice.
That was if it didn't work out. That's what I was gonna say. When the Giants have cut Isaiah Wilson from the practice squad per source. But it ended up working out. So It was
Good
fun.
for you. You were on the Fan today. You were called the Great Bobby Skinner, which
Yeah,
is like
by Moose, who I've never interacted with. Like I follow him, he doesn't follow me, so
I don't
I
know. I think he
appreciate
was
that.
just saying that.
Well, I know our coworkers, John Boy and Jake, like they hosted that show for a day, so with Maggie. So how about that? Sorry,
The Great Bobby
the
Skinner.
great Bobby Skinner. But let's talk about Isaiah Wilson for a second. Don't have any expectations for him. Zero. Have zero expectations for him. Like I'm skeptical that he truly is like gotten his like stuff straightened out. But if he is on the straight and narrow, and he gets put into a good environment, I don't ever see him, especially with the way his career started, probably being like that right tackle. I think he would have to be like an Eric Flowers path of moving to guard. He's good in the run game. In the pass game, even at LSU, he got beat on the outside, got beat like K'Lavon Chasen beat him a few times at Georgia. And it's not like K'Lavon Chasen's killing it in the NFL right now. So I don't think you would ever want to put him at right tackle. Now, maybe would he be a better right tackle than Matt Parrott and Nate Solder? Possibly, but not like I think right now the Giants are like, come lose and get your everything right with us, and if you do that, then eventually we'll give you a shot to play here. But I think that path is at guard for Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, he's a much better run blocker than pass blocker, right?
Yeah. Which makes sense to put him at guard.
He's got to lose from what we know. He's got to not just lose a little bit of weight. He's got to lose weight.
Yeah, he's at like 405 pounds.
There you go.
3 stars. Hey guys, great.
Huge.
Yeah. Hey guys, great work. A new GM seems very likely. Would you be okay with that GM moving on from QB head coach? I know it's early in the season. Thanks, guys. So we talked about this on the mailbag. I would, because you don't want, here's the thing. I don't want to put any prerequisites for the new GM. I just want them to find the best person for the job and let him do his job. Now, right now, it looks like you would bring back Daniel Jones, and there may not be a QB they believe in and like in this class, and I hate the idea of forcing a quarterback pick.
Don't do it.
Get to draft somebody else if you don't believe in a QB. That's 2018. They shouldn't have drafted Saquon, but I don't think they should have drafted a QB if they didn't believe in him. Now, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson would have been good picks. Sam Darnold wouldn't have been, because you saw what he's like on a bad team. And hell, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson probably wouldn't be doing as well here, but that's besides the point. So I would. I don't want to put any prerequisites, but I would like Judge and Jones to be the guys going forward. I'm not totally out on Judge. I'm down on Judge, but I'm not totally out on him.
Yeah. Speaking of Judge, we have to listen to Jordan's podcast, Jordan Ronan's podcast.
I did.
So what did he say about Judge and Garrett? Because that's been a question for years.
He just said it was highly recommended by John Mayer. It wasn't forced on him, but it was recommended.
Okay, well, I don't think
that's something that's been a take that every fan's had for the last 2 years. I don't think anyone ever thought that John Mayer forced Jason Garrett, but there's recommending, and it's shouldn't be meddling in that type of stuff. John Mayer.
Somebody can highly recommend something without forcing it, but it can still be forced.
Yeah, I can highly recommend that you guys burn down MetLife Stadium, but you guys can't pin that on me when the cops come. Don't pin that crap on me. Al Bats, $50. Come on, dude, stop, please. Don't go take your lady out for a nice dinner at Wendy's for $50. You two are terrific. I'm a 50-year-old Giants fan and capable of any emotional or mental comprehension. Freaking Giants scarred us all, whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, or 40 years. Keep up the content, guys. We will all go down together. Hey, that's what I like about the Talking Giants community. Is we might go down, but we're going to go down together.
That's right. Thank you, Al. I appreciate you.
Zeke Anderson. I think you guys are too hard on Saquon Barkley. Bobby, you're the O-line guy. Yes, Saquon Barkley misses holes every now and then, but he also has to try and make people miss at the handoff from what I see a lot. I get that, and I don't want Saquon to lose that want to turn big plays, but it's just right now, these first 3 games coming back, if Saquon just had these 3 games in a vacuum, be they weren't good, but it's you're not panicked. But it's because it's coming off injury where I'm worried with Saquon.
Yeah,
because there's times where it's why are you juking right here? Just go, follow your blocks and go, and he's not doing that. And it's kind of follow your blocks and go coming off the injury, and then start get comfortable and like when to take that big play. But it's like I feel like he's doing it kind of backwards.
30 broken tackles in 2018, 16 broken tackles in 2019. He played in 13 games in 2019, which is still averaging more than one per game. 2018, obviously, he almost averaged 2 per game broken tackles. And this year, he has 2 broken tackles in 3 games. And his yards after contact is 1.8 yards. And in 2018 and in 2019, it was 2.8 yards after contact. So that's an entire yard difference. And right now, Saquon, I believe he's averaging 3.4 yards per carry. If he's able to churn out that yard after contact that he was giving us in 2018 and 2019, he's averaging 4.4 yards per carry. And we're not saying that's a bad season, but it's that yard that he can't break tackles and he can't get the yards after contact like he used to. It's that 1 yard where we're now saying that this is a bad, inefficient season.
I was really hoping Saquon would just come back and be the old Saquon, and it's just it's not. Until the developer says, stop blaming Jason Garrett. Nope. All right.
No.
Do a barrel roller, guy. The Giants are as a team are like bottom half of the league in yards after contact, but top of the league in yards before contact, according to Pro Football Reference.
Is that true? Yards before?
Well, it would make sense because Daniel Jones is high in attended air yards. I don't know how that adjusted from the Week 3 game.
Wait, what do we mean by yards after contact? Are we saying yards after the catch? Top half of the league in yards before.
We might be talking about receiving, not running.
Clarify what you mean here, because we were talking about the running game, and those stats make sense for talking about running backs. I think he's talking about running backs, which I don't think we're top half the league in yards before contact. I don't think we are.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yards after contact in the run game. That's what Do a Barrel Roll said.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
I don't think so. But go ahead.
Eli Bittner, do you think Judge's comments about fixing execution before making radical changes means fixing the drive, stopping sacks, penalties instead of changing OC? I think that was a cliche. Yes, but I think that was like a Joe Judge cliche. Like we just got to fix some things and get better execution. Like I think that was like when they asked him what's good about Jason Garrett, and he didn't say anything good about Jason Garrett. He's just like, we got to handle our own issues. I view that as kind of like a non-answer.
No, but I genuinely do think that is the approach, Bobby. I mean, there's the proof is in the pudding, where they think that this approach of 10, 11, 12 play drives, they think it works. And whenever there's a holding call, whenever there's a drop pass, the Giants will view that as an execution issue and not just, hey, this is how the game of football works. If you run, you're not going to run 12 plays in a row where somebody's not going to drop a pass or not going to get a holding call. I mean, this is the NFL. Penalties are going to happen, and you just hope that they're more on the other side of the ball than your own side of the ball. So that's how they view things. They don't view things as, hey, let's actually get to the end zone quicker so we can avoid mistakes. No, it's if somebody makes a mistake on a 10, 11, 12 play drive, that's an execution issue, and that's not a coaching issue. Tough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Intel the developer this was a guy who said stop blaming Justin Garrett. Blaming David Gettleman. He has failed the Giants for the last 4 years. He promised offensive line gives us nothing. I agree with you. Like I blame Dave Gettleman, but also Jason Garrett deserves blame too.
Yeah, great. I mean we're also I hate the and we were at this point in December where everybody was looking for one person to blame, and now we're in, tomorrow is Friday, October. Happy October.
Saturday.
Giants season's over. But don't just point the finger at one person. Like, it's a share of Dave Gettleman. There's nobody from the 2018 draft class that deserves somewhat of a long-term contract extension. Nobody. That's Dave Gettleman for the guys that he brought in. And, there's not a single free agent that's going to be on the team after 2018. However, free agents don't last that entirely long. But Nate Solder set them back. That's Dave Gettleman, right? Joe Judge for the fourth down decisions and keeping Jason Garrett. Daniel Jones for turnovers. Maybe he doesn't see a guy. Maybe he misses a throw every once in a while. Like this is not just one person. Be smart about how you analyze things. It's not just one person.
And blame Dalvin Tomlinson for leaving and making Leonard Williams suck. All right, just kidding. AJ Endovina says, would you rather give O'Shane snaps to Carter Coughlin? Coughlin has shown the ability to get to the QB more often than O'Shane. And one is not better than the other as a run defender on the edge. Here's the issues. I think Carter Coughlin has a better chance to get. Yes, I would. The thing is I think Carter Coughlin could be a good depth piece of inside linebacker on a lot of teams. And he's only would be a good edge piece on the Giants because they suck at that spot. So, but yeah, I would you can drop him in the coverage more than O'Shane. Like run defender, they're both not very good. And then Carter Coughlin, right now, is a better pass rusher than O'Shane Ximines is. So yeah, I absolutely would give him some reps there. I'm not going to make him the starter, but why not give him, 10 reps on the edge and then 5 reps in the A gap as an inside linebacker, which they have been doing. So far this season.
Yeah, I definitely think they should. It's a shame though.
Or Quincy Roche, maybe he can do something.
O'Shane and Lorenzo's just not being here. Like they might as well not even be on the team.
Lorenzo's a good run defender, but that's
but it's so disappointing. That's probably one of the most disappointing things about this year is that those guys didn't take their jump, and they could be because they're still recovering from the injury, or they're never going to be the same after their season-ending injuries. I don't know, but that's probably one of the more disappointing things.
O'Shane's injury probably has nothing to do with it. Lorenzo could have a little bit.
Yeah, you know me. I was never high on O'Shane, even heading into this year. And I usually don't go out of my way to dismiss a lot of people. Like, that's not what I do. But O'Shane was one of my guys that I was like, I could see this guy being cut. And he had a good preseason, he had a good camp, and good for him. But he's never wowed me with really anything. So,
hot dog. How long until you guys want Judge fired? There's not like a timeline. It's like if I see stuff that makes me want to go, I want Joe Judge fired. I'll see. Yeah. There's like it's just not there's not like I'm waiting till week 8 to say like it's like there could become a point that I want Joe Judge fired, and there could never be that point. So we'll play it by ear. We call it like we see it.
That's right.
Hot diggity dog. I know Hot Dog is missing the all 22 streams, but I'm doing I think the film review has been a good replacement of the all 22 streams.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Jay Mota, thank you for the $5. Hey, Bobby, what do you think of Isaiah Wilson signing? Do you think he can help us on the field sooner rather than later? Great work, guys. So we talked about it a little bit. I will say no. I wouldn't expect anything out of him this year. If you saw anything from him this year, I'd be surprised. If he stays on the roster all year and does well and doesn't get arrested in the offseason and doesn't, he's not like a drug addict or alcoholic in the offseason and comes back in shape, then it's like, okay, maybe we got something with this cat. But don't have any expectations for Isaiah Wilson this year or ever, really. Like, I have no expectations for him ever. Anything that Isaiah Wilson does good would be a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
Al Bats again. There has to be a Hoffa ghost under MetLife. Even when we were good, our wins came on the road. I agree, and we should burn down MetLife. Our Super Bowls were on the road.
Do you know what he's referring to by the Hoffa ghost?
Yeah, isn't there a rumor that Jimmy Hoffa was buried under MetLife Stadium?
No, not MetLife. He was buried under Giants Stadium. And actually, this is a story that my father told me, and I don't know if he ever told me not to say anything about this.
Maybe Jimmy Hoffa's still alive, though.
No, Jimmy Hoffa.
Can we kill him and bury him under this stadium?
Well, that would be an option. They actually looked for Jimmy Hoffa's remains when they imploded Giants Stadium, when they imploded it. They actually looked for his body. They tried to dig a little bit, and they didn't find anything.
Because Jimmy Hoffa's still alive. I mean, he's never been confirmed dead.
We talked about that on Bleeding Blue this offseason. That was actually like a 5-minute thing that we talked about.
Yeah, I remember that. Let's see. Okay, Joe says, who makes the decisions who plays where on the offensive line? The head coach or OC hated the moving Gates to guard from center, and that Pardo's not playing right tackle. I think it's probably a collaborative between head coach, OC, and O-line coach, probably more so head coach and O-line coach. I would think that's that. I want to see Parrott at right tackle. I really do. Like, I'm tired of seeing Nate Solder out there. He's not good. And it's not like he's making, like, he's just not good athletically. He makes mental mistakes that nobody on the offensive line is making. But I want to turn this into. We talked about it a little bit on the pod this morning. Do you have any, like, there has been no inkling, no sourcing, no anything of like who might play left guard on Sunday? Like, we have we are blind of who's going to play left guard on Sunday. Do I have to freaking find out everything for these damn beat reporters with the offensive line?
Did nobody ask that today?
No, nobody knows who's playing left guard. Like, we have no clue if it's Matt Skura, or maybe they put Matt Skura center and Billy Price, or if Wes Martin jumps right in, like, or Jonathan Harrison maybe. Like, we have zero clue who is playing left guard. Come on, beat reporters. Don't make me find out everything.
Can I call Zach Rosenblatt? Would that be inappropriate? I think it would be inappropriate.
Yeah, don't call him up on. And if he doesn't know, it makes him look bad. And he may know, and he's not allowed to post because they're not allowed to tweet stuff from practice.
I think that's what it is. They're not allowed to tweet out starting alignments.
But they don't see their starting alignment, and the session is open to the media this time of year, anyways.
What do they do? What do they do? Jumping jacks?
They're there. No, they're there for like a 15-minute like stretching warm up period, and then they have to leave.
Oh, great! That I would love to go to the facility every day to see that.
Well, they do pressers and stuff too. It's not just that.
Still, I mean, come on, do the Zoom shit. That's such a waste of time that they make them do that. Damn.
But they like doing this. Well, usually they have access to the locker room and stuff.
They do this year?
Not this year, but they get to talk
to. That's what I'm saying.
They don't just get but they talk to players and stuff off to the side too. It's not like it's like they're not like Andrew Thomas today. Some beat reporters talked to him. It wasn't like in front of the podium. They just went and talked to him.
Oh, okay. What a life.
You get to see who's practicing, who's not. I mean, if I was a beat reporter, I would make sure to show up to those. But I'm built different. And I'm not a beat reporter because I'm not a scumbag. Bobby and Justin, what is going on with Darnay Holmes? Are you guys worried about him? This is actually a good question and something that hasn't been talked about. I think it's just Darnay Holmes isn't good at man coverage, and it's why he had to move to the slot from the outside from college. If he ever played outside corner, I'd be petrified. I would just be like, throw jump balls all day. He can't play man coverage. Washington State killed him on that, but then you see him against a guy like Hollywood Brown, and he's able to hold his own because he's like that speedier type of guy. And I really think it's just he doesn't play man coverage, and the Giants want to play more man coverage. Like, Patrick Graham played more man on third down. Credit to Patrick Graham. He made adjustments from Washington. He kind of got away from some of the soft zone. Now, does that mean that they're playing super close every single rep? No, it doesn't. But they got away from the soft zone for the most part. And it's just Darnay's not great in man, and Rodarius is better at him in man. Now, I want to give Rodarius credit. He looked pretty good for someone who, in years past where it's like, let's throw this guy out there, or even more so, let's throw an outside corner at slot like Corey Ballantyne from the 6th round. It looks disastrous. Rodarius looked all right. Now, maybe he'll get targeted going forward, but it's like Rodarius stops the big play. That was the one thing he did really good at Oklahoma State was like, it's like that. You're not getting a big play on Rodarius. The only times they did were like acrobatic catches by Oklahoma.
Yeah. So good for Rodarius, but yeah, Giants are clearly running a little bit of a different defense than they were last year, where they're trusting their corners, they're trusting their boundary corners to do a little bit more, and they're doing some different things with their safeties. I mean, clearly the fact that there's just different personnel out there because McKinney's out there, Logan Ryan's out there for pretty much a majority of the snaps, and then Jabril Peppers is a player that kind of rotates in and out two out of every 3 plays. I mean, that's kind of like been his status quo. So they're doing some different things, and Darnay just doesn't fit that, and that's the way that things are going right now.
Right. Barrel Roll followed up. He said, "Where is it?" It was team wide. So what I'm thinking is that must include Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones going untouched.
Yeah.
For big runs, that would make a lot more sense because I don't. Yeah. So
every time that I check, the yards before contact for Saquon is below average, and I would even say the yards after contact is like, I think everything's just below average.
Right.
I could be wrong. I got to check.
Al Betts, have either of you listened to our fearless leader, Logan Ryan, on Moose and Maggie? Proves that even our captain sucks. So I did listen to that interview. We got tagged and they're like, wow, he's being snarky. I don't know. I feel like that was pretty tame. You know, it wasn't like cookie cutter, but like that was fine. Like if you could go and look at some of the old Giants teams, like they were a lot more boisterous in their radio interviews than that. You know, I think we forget because social media wasn't around there. And this is something you guys have done like a great job of chronicling. Me and words, man, it's rough. But doing a good job of noting, and when you do the bleeding blue in the off season, it's like, man, like Strahan was like not afraid to, like, guys that said stuff to the media, like way more than they do now, and social media has kind of killed that. But yeah, would be a little snappy on that, but I thought it wasn't that. It wasn't nothing like bad.
Antonio Pierce in 2007 brought like a bullhorn into the locker room, and like,
yes, I remember this story.
It went off, and I think he like kicked everybody out, or so it was like an event. And Michael Strahan and Plaxico Burress went at each other a couple times after the 2006 game where Vince Young goes crazy bananas on Sunday Night Football, and the Titans have a big fourth quarter comeback, and Matthias Kiwanuka misses a sack. Plaxico Burress like called out the defense, and then Michael Strahan called out him, but then a beat reporter like spun those words. So then Michael Strahan looked at that beat reporter while stuffing a peanut butter jelly sandwich in his face, and he's like, "You look me in the eye before you try to destroy a man," and this shit's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that interview is amazing.
So like, even back then, I don't think anybody was going to sit there and say, "Oh, we suck and we have to be better." Blah 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 blah. Maybe some of them did, but they were pretty boisterous and with the media, and I think a lot of people would have a problem with it, just like they're having a problem with it today.
Yeah, and as long as you're not throwing like teammates under the bus, like basically doing what Odell did on ESPN, like like Logan Ryan, he was kind of just he was defending himself and not being down in the dumps in that interview. How would you feel if the Giants drafted Nakobe Dean in the second round? I've been looking at the linebackers this year, and he is a beast. I watched him in that Clemson game, and I fell in love with him.
Yeah.
So, and I love Georgia players, and I love Georgia linebackers. So, would love that.
Credit to you for talking about our second round draft pick in October, and we're not even in October.
I know.
Credit to you.
Brian, if we had a fire sale, what general manager, head coach, offensive coordinator would you guys want? I have not. It's one, when we do fire the general manager, doing research on general managers is so impossible unless they've been a general manager before, because you have nothing to judge them off of besides of what other people's work. Like if we got someone from the Colts organization, we would be judging what Chris Ballard did. So it's really impossible. Like there can be guys out there where you can see like tea leaves and like, I hate this hiring. Like, if they went the TV route and Louis Riddick, where he's like has publicly said the things he would do, and I'm like, oh please God no. But for the most part, head coach, I thank you for super chat, but I'm not thinking that far ahead. Ken Dorsey for OC, or the Kentucky OC I've heard has been pretty decent. Anyways, that's it. So I've been thinking about the new OC since last year. So I have a couple of people on my mind.
Joe Brady, Kellen Moore.
No, I wouldn't want Kellen Moore as head coach. Joe Brady, maybe. But Joe Brady's going to be the Bengals head coach next year.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. As a football fan, I'm kind of rooting for that.
Yeah, Jamar Chase has looked really good.
Yep. Who needs a no line?
Let's see. When the team is bad, the fans are rabid dogs looking for blood. Yeah, I agree.
I think we're doing all right.
Keyshawn Johnson touted Todd Haley for OC. What say you?
Todd, he was with Pittsburgh for a while?
Pittsburgh. He was actually with Cleveland when him and Hugh Jackson got fired at the same time, and then Freddie Kitchens took over with Todd Haley's playbook. So I don't know.
You gotta look more into it, but
Mayer equals Dolan equals Steinbrenner. I mean, I love how George Steinbrenner, all 9 New York Giants, self-proclaimed tough guy, New York media equals dopes equals. All right, Al. I don't know what to tell you.
That's not an equation. We need some pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
It's not an equation.
Burn MetLife. I agree.
Sure.
All right, let's see. We're at 39 minutes. We'll go for another 10 minutes or so. Who are you going on a Twitter Spaces with?
I think Will, Snacks, and some other friends may join, but that's the plan. Hashtag Will was right.
I tried to join Twitter Spaces. I think my phone's too old to do it. Like I have an iPhone SE.
It's possible.
And I literally hit request because like our guys Isaiah and Jimmy Kappa, I think that's his name. I see his tweets all the time, and then now I'm like, what's his last name again? I tried to join and I sent it. I was like, let me in, and it was like they don't see my request, so I don't know. Tuto! Giants are the most talented team in the NFL. They're the only team who can keep beating themselves like no other team could. Forget about Ed. Forget about it. Thank you, Tuto.
Frankie G says he misses Simple Man Radio.
Should we bring it back? It's so busy this time of year, though.
Well, no, not now. Not now, but
in the off season. Well, we could do it now that you're full time. Here's the thing: is we would have to do it once a week and do it longer, kind of the way that Jim and Jake do John Boy and Jake Radio.
Okay. We could very well, like, maybe if John Boy Media has an intern, then we could be like, hey, intern, find some storylines, find some stuff for us, and then go from there.
Yeah.
So.
You can ask Justin this. I am scared of myself on Simple Man Radio, where it's like I just, sometimes I let it fly when we're talking about the Giants. When we're not talking about the Giants, it could get,
Yeah.
What is the immediate solution to our problems, guys? Burning down MetLife Stadium. Tank for Kayvon.
Firing Jason Garrett.
Yeah, tank for Kayvon Thibodeau. If we got Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, it would be awesome. That's all I want to say. That would be our two biggest needs. Would be offensive tackle and edge rusher, and we would get it in one round of the draft. That would be beautiful.
One of those guys would have to fall though, because they're both going to be taken way too high.
Yeah, but no. At the same time, QBs always jump up the boards.
Yeah.
Like if we had the second pick and the sixth pick, I could see us getting Kayvon at 2. And Neal at 6. Like, Penei Sewell dropped down to like 7 or 8 this year. And, this time last year, if I remember when I did my mock draft, people were like, Penei will not go any lower than 2nd. And I was like, well, you don't know that. Oh, Bobby, did you talk about that Paul Schwartz article tonight? I was a little late, I think. No, we didn't. Unreal. Do you know who the QB was? So basically, let me find it because I DM'd it to you because I was like, get a load of this crap. Or actually Snacks DM'd it to us.
Yes.
Oh, that's the wrong group chat. So let me find it. Okay, so Paul Schwartz article from the New York Post. I personally don't feel it makes sense to fire an offensive coordinator early in the season. Listen, more times than not, it's less about the plays and it's about the players and the execution. Everybody pretty much runs the same stuff. And then he quote tweeted and said, for sports, for Post Sports, it's a subscriber only. Read what a former Giants quarterback advises. Who was it? Was it Danny Cannell? Or like Dave? Like who was it?
Wasn't Eli? Wasn't Kurt Warner?
Yeah,
Kerry Collins.
It could have been Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner is in media and he No,
but I mean he talked about last week about Garrett's offense on that video, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Kurt Warner would never say that actually. When's the Twitter space? 8:15, right?
Yeah, 8:10, 8:15.
Barrel, do you know who did it? But I mean, come on, that's just like, how did a person who says that play quarterback in the NFL? Because that's a stupid thing to say.
You want to know who it was?
Oh, it was Kerry Collins.
No, it was Barry. It was. Did I just guess that?
It was Kerry Collins.
I was also. Oh, good. Wow, good. That was a stretch of a guess, and I was also thinking maybe Phil Simms.
Yeah,
Phil Simms is in media, but Beryl, if that was Kerry Collins, I mean, So here's also my opinion on this, and this is coming from somebody who didn't play the game, didn't play the game of football professionally, and I'm a content creator for YouTube and I'm a podcaster, right? We need to stop listening to athletes that aren't informed on what's happening. Like, great.
Yes, please.
Like,
Please stop.
Great. Like Brett Favre, I'm so happy. Like I'm sure you are very smart. You know a million times more about the game of football compared to me. Like I'm not willing to bet that. But let's not have Brett Favre on, like, for example, the Monday Night Football telecast, and then ask him, "Hey, what do you think of the Packers right now? They look pretty good." Brett Favre hasn't watched the Packers since he fucking retired. I'm willing to bet. So stop asking professional athletes who are not informed their opinion on things that they don't know.
Yeah, they professional athletes are usually pretty bad at media.
Yeah.
At least the best ones, Let's see. Big I wanted to highlight this. Big Pat Sports Talk. Yo, can't wait to have you on the show tomorrow. Got to talk about this O-line and what is the best case scenario for us for the rest of the season. Subscribe to his channel. I'm going to be on there. I think tomorrow at 3:00. I believe I will be on there. So
I have an interview tomorrow too.
How about that? NFL's like a one-way highway. You're either a winner or a loser. There's nothing in between the buns except a large sausage with homemade sauce.
Is that a penis joke?
No, it's talking about it's like a food joke.
Oh, I just went there.
Start a GoFundMe to upgrade. I'm fine with my phone, to be honest. The only issue is that it doesn't have a lot of gigabytes because I bought it as a prepaid phone on accident. This is into the mind of a Bobby Skinner. So my phone breaks, and I did the flip phone for the longest time. I was like, I don't need a smartphone. I had an iTouch, and I was like, when I'm at home, I can use it. When I'm not home, I don't need to have a smartphone. I don't want to be the person on my phone all the time. So that breaks, and finally, I just break down and get an iPhone. But I just went to Walmart, went and bought one, and tried to activate it. And like, oh, this is a prepaid phone. You can't use it. But then I found a loophole that you can use it as a prepaid phone for 1 month, and then you can switch it over to your regular plan. So for 1 month, I used it as a prepaid phone, and I had my regular phone. I had a flip phone, and it was literally hanging by like a cord, and I used it for like a month. My flip phone like that. Now I need the iPhone for work, obviously, but I used to not. But I'm happy with my phone. It's just there's much other things I would rather spend money on than that.
It's funny to see how tiny the phone is compared to your just body.
I know. You see other people's phones, and it's like, oh man. And that's the other thing. I don't like the big phones. I don't want a big ass phone in my pocket. Like this one's already big enough.
You get used to it. Like I was that way at first, but now it's it's basically it's like a little laptop. Then I like it. I don't mind it.
I agree.
No, you don't. You just said you don't like the bigger phones.
I wasn't listening to you. Josh said, Giants don't need to panic and fire everybody. It's only been 3 games. Can easily be 2-1. Some play calls go our way. Just need.
I'm kind of tired.
But it's not about being 2-1. Like even if we were 2-1, we would still be talking about some of the same issues.
Yeah.
Like that's something that Talking Giants, I will say, is good at. That when we're winning, we do a good job of looking at like, okay, just because we're winning doesn't mean some of this stuff's not bad. And then when we're losing, we do a good job of being like, I know we're losing, but that doesn't mean that Patrick Graham's stupid.
Listen to our Seahawks reaction episode, like the day it happened last year, and we were like catching ourselves saying, I know we won the game. I know this is our biggest win in a long time. But fuck, Jason Garrett is still frustrating. And
I wanted Jason Garrett fired at halftime of that game. Yeah. He had 0 points at the half.
And that was a bad Seahawks defense, very similar to a bad Atlanta defense.
Yeah.
This time we had Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Freaking brutal. Pisses me off. All right. We are a couple minutes away from 50 minutes. So I think we're going to roll. You're going to go do your Twitter space thing in a second. Did you see the description I did for this video?
No, I'm going to look at it right now. NFL Insider Bobby Skinner is joined by Justin Penik. is joined by Justin Penik. You should have said Justin Penik is joined by NFL Insider Bobby Skinner.
That's true.
That's how you should have worded it.
Let's see.
Andrew Thomas is fun. That's
Yeah,
how we'll
and I
end
had
it.
someone
How about
trying,
that?
like someone connected me like you like Andrew Thomas too much. And I was like, you know what? Screw you. Screw you. That's the only player on this team that you can trigger me talking bad about. Like you could talk bad about Daniel Jones, any player on this team. If you talk bad about Andrew Thomas, that's the only one you could trigger me with. So Bobby breaks news once and is too good for us. No, man, I am. Listen, you could call me media scum, but find me another person in the media that's calling for the burning down of MetLife Stadium.
True.
Find one. Find one that'll even like a tweet about a joke about it. So, man of the people. And I showed you guys today that you can get refunds from NFL Game Pass. You got to be persistent, though. You have to be persistent with them and
All
being like, no,
caps.
like you promised this. They're gonna tell you no. Respond again. Like no, you said you had a product. You don't have it. And even if you do get it eventually, you are missing it for a big portion of the time that I wanted. I needed it for. I want my money back, and they will give you your money back. So,
All caps.
yep, all caps. Burn it. All right, that's a live stream. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Watch the stats report,
Watch the stat report.
please. And that's it.
Talking Giants versus the world. Burn down MetLife Stadium. When we have those shirts out, buy them. Oh, here. Let me hold on.
Wait, what does it? What does the shirt say, or should I be surprised?
I think it's just going to be a picture of the stadium of a stadium, and it's going to say "Burn it down."
Oh wow!
So they can't link it to MetLife because we won't say.
Can
MetLife
we make it look like MetLife, and that's just like a gray blob of a stadium? We could say that's any stadium.
Yeah, I think that's what it will look like. I said just like a generic like cartoon stadium to our designer.
Yeah, don't make it look too good.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna wear it when I come up for the Eagles game. So.
Oh yeah. Oh,
if it's not too cold.
Yeah, I was about to be like, it's gonna be cold. If they make a sweatshirt out of it, then buy the sweatshirt.
All right. I'm ending the stream. All right. See you guys. Bye. Love you.